Did you know that neurodivergent people have trauma and triggers surrounding work and school? Who knew? Because to do our best work, we often need accommodations that most people don't need. So if we are considered high-functioning or just really damn good at masking our neurodivergence, neurotypical or allistic people tend to assume that we are being demanding for asking for these accommodations. For we autistics, this issue is compounded by our social skills, which often leave much to be desired. So when approaching our bosses for support, it's important to remember one thing. Our reaction is valid, but it is not universal. Don't freak out about change because we're lesser or there's any reason to shame ourselves. Our brains literally process reality in a different way. It's like how a neurotypical might react if gravity stopped working. If you are of the opinion that a person needs to be validated by a system in order to call themselves autistic, you are 100% entitled to that opinion. But I and people like me don't share that opinion because we have broken trust with that system. And until that system earns our trust, this is just where we're going to be at. I'm completing my second required course for filing bankruptcy, and this shit is both triggering and offensive. They're like, here's the difference between wants and needs. Meanwhile, asshole corporate executives get paid 6 to 7 figures because they're so good at making the public confuse their wants and their needs. I don't think I'm the one that needs an education on the difference. I literally thought the game of life was to overcome my nature. I thought that I was original sin, and success was about suppressing that. I'm lazy, so I better work harder. I'm tired, so I better get more energy. I'm fat, so I better get fit. I'm behind, so I better work faster. I'm unattractive, so I better get prettier. It was a non-stop quest to fix myself. The shame kicks in when our behavior doesn't match our values, right? And neurodivergents are educated to pursue goals via means that aren't appropriate for the way that we think, so shame just kind of comes with the territory. So maybe the answer is just to be a little bit less close-minded about the means that I choose to use to reach my goals. I can get there, I just can't get there their way. Neurotypical and allistic people aren't educated to understand that there are people like us that exist, that are among them, that talk and function and seem normal on the outside. That's why we have to continue to be brave and stand up for what our internal experience actually is. We'll never connect with the people we don't have to mask for if we bury our needs with shame and don't advocate for ourselves. This is a part of the nightmare of having a subjective neurodivergent human experience. Inevitably, whenever we try to explain our experience to people, their ability to comprehend the concepts that we're saying are going to be shoved and squeezed down into whatever their current knowledge base is. In ADHD and autism, when we fall into an activity, we fall hard. The rest of the world does not fucking exist. But being in the zone, that's like when you're really engaged in something, when you really love what you're doing and time stops. So it's like I've been trained to be afraid of joy. For as long as I can remember, the harder I try to be clear, the more likely people think that I'm yelling at them. In my head, it makes sense. If there's confusion going on, then speaking more slowly and enunciating is going to be more clear, but y'all have decided that means I'm an asshole. I do think that self-diagnosis has its own validity in its own right, kind of like being your own lawyer. Diagnosis isn't magical, it is a system with flaws and bottlenecks. And we are alive now, we have needs now, and we have to be able to advocate for ourselves. And we need results faster than the system could possibly give them to us.